Saints Vikings all the way in London, the double doink, a bit of a heartbreak in it. Tough game. I will react and we'll go over the box score here, and then we'll do a little quick. I'll watch a video and see what the local people are saying. But real quick here, so before we get to the numbers, I think it's very obvious that Andy Dalton is the starting quarterback moving forward. The offense looked good. The offense had a plan. The offense had strategy. It had life to it. It seemed like there was a scheme. That for sure is like that's certain. Andy Dalton is our guy moving forward for at least the next 14 games. Beyond that, we'll see. But the rest of this season, Jameis is officially the backup as far as I'm concerned. Injuries were a huge issue. I mean, let's not lie to each other. I think it's interesting with Saints fans and just kind of I guess media, but it's crazy to me that they can take this week being the week that they're like, all right, Dennis Allen, you're on the cutting room floor. This is the week. Like, you've got to show up this week. If you don't get their shit together this week, Dennis, we want results. And in my preview, I said, I don't care about the results. The results are out the window. I want to see philosophy. I want to see a plan. I don't care. I even said, I don't care who's on the field, because it doesn't matter who's on the field. What matters is what the scheme is, right? And I think it's interesting to see what I would say is people getting very confused. Getting very confused on either the goal of the season, getting very confused on what they want to see or what needs to happen. I'm still hearing people who are like, I mean, we still got an outside shot at the NFC title. We still have a route to the Super Bowl. And maybe I'm just cynical. I mean, maybe I'm just too much of a realist in this situation, and I should be like that, right? I should be having all this hopium, and I should be believing all the way through. But I just don't. And maybe because I've been watching sports for too long, or I know how this goes. But this is not a team that is set to win at that level. This is not a team that's set to win 10 games. This isn't a team that's really set to win a good division. I mean, we're lucky we're in a relatively bad division. We're lucky the NFC South is struggling. We're lucky Carolina's as bad as they are, and Tampa seems to be as weak as they are right now. But I think it's time, or I think it's hard to watch and review a team or a game when you do it through the lens of we should be 12-5, or we should be the 1 seed, or we should be competing for Super Bowls. When you view it from a lens that we were coming from in the preview video of, all right, okay, we got a lot of bad things going on right now. We're down to our backup quarterback. We got multiple injuries. We're playing in London. We're playing against the Vikings, who a lot of people thought would be a legitimate challenger, and they may still be a legitimate challenger in the NFC. Okay, a lot is stacked up against us. So the fact that we figured out our offensive identity, check. Good job, Dennis. I also think that's important to criticize, but to offer some kudos whenever it's a job well done. Well done, job well done to Dennis Allen and Pete Carmichael, or whoever figured out this offensive scheme. Good job. The defense played good. Yes, there were some penalties. There was 10 penalties. The last drive was terrible. I mean, there was, I think, 5 first downs were granted to the Vikings through penalties, and they were coming at third downs. They were happening at the worst possible scenarios. Injuries are a part. Penalties are a part of the game. I'm not the kind of guy who sits back and says, unless it was the Rams game where it was an obvious penalty that obviously changed the game. But I don't think games are fixed. I don't think referees have agendas. I don't believe in all that. Once you start believing that, how can you ever watch the game again? So I think with everything out there, I think the fact that it took a double doink from a 61-yard field goal for us to lose, I think was good. I think I tweeted this out, but this was one of those games where Vikings fans should be worried and Saints fans should feel pretty good about themselves. And that's even though the results are switched. I think people reviewing these games get way too results oriented. When I was talking to somebody in an Uber on Sunday in New Orleans, and they were like, how was the game? And I said, I thought pretty good. They were like, did we win? I said, no, but all things considered, this is the best we've looked all season. And that's the truth. This is the best the Saints have looked all season, and it was in a loss. That happens. That happens in sports where, we talked about this being a get-right game. I feel like the Saints got right. I feel like the Saints got right. And when I say a scheme or an identity, I thought that they set out and said, all right, look, we're going to keep Andy safe. Andy actually spread it out way more than I thought he was, but they kept him safe and he didn't make mistakes. And they said, we're going to establish the run. We're going to do a lot of play action. And what I liked was they mixed up the runs. It wasn't just the same old shit up the middle. It was a little bit of Latavius Murray, a little bit of Taysom Hill, a little bit of Mark Ingram until he got hurt, and then you're building play action off that. Olave got very involved. That's the kind of game plan I want to see. If we had that game plan against the Bucs, we probably beat the Bucs. And I feel like there was an easy to detect upgrade from Jameis to Andy Dalton. The ball just seemed to be better. It was just a better level of quarterback play. Now, is that because Andy doesn't have 4 fractures in his back? I don't know. I'm not a doctor. But I feel very comfortable moving forward with Andy Dalton. Next week we play the Seahawks in the Dome at home. And I think that's I don't want to say we should dominate that game. We should absolutely dominate that game. The Seahawks just came off of a game where they looked incredible, playing probably the worst defense we've seen in the last 5 years in the Detroit Lions. That's going to be very different when they play the Saints. Saints defense is playing strong. Saints defense is playing good. And now we have an offense. Now we and that's not to mention, like, if we have players back. You know, Kamara really hasn't played this year. Michael Thomas has been out. He missed last game. You know, we had Andres Pete on the offensive line who was out. So we're not at full strength. We're not going to be at full strength this year because Andy Dalton's our starting quarterback. But if we can get to full strength with Andy, I think this team it's a tough schedule, but I think now this team will win the games we're supposed to win. You know, we're the Seahawks game, stuff like that, where it's not a question. We should take care of business in those kind of games, and maybe we can give good teams a hiccup. Real quick before we get to the video, or before we get to the stats and then the video, I thought the Vikings were terrible. I think the shine is off the rose with Minnesota. Kirk Cousins is going to be Kirk Cousins. Not good. I had 9,000 people in the Detroit Lions video that we did on this channel that played the Vikings. I had 9,000 people in my comments telling me Kirk Cousins is good. Kirk Cousins is not good. Bottom line, he's not good. He's bang average, I would say. Average most of the time to bad during primetime games and big time games. That's where he kind of fluctuates. He may have a couple of good throws, but as far as being a guy who can take them to the Super Bowl, if Kirk Cousins takes the Minnesota Vikings to the Super Bowl, I'll eat my hand on camera. All right, he just doesn't have it. Dalvin Cook, big issues there. Will he ever even have a 70% workload? Or is it always going to be an injury thing? Should they just switch to Madison? You know, that's a legit conversation Minnesota should have. Should he just be the featured back? Justin Jefferson, he's the man, no doubt about it. I just think Minnesota's not very good. Their run defense so damn bad. Like, their run defense just disgustingly bad. That's a Fugazi team. I mean, I'm sorry, but you know, Aaron Rodgers with literally nothing on his team, and they're not even playing that good. But Green Bay, you can tell, is at the end of the year, Green Bay is going to be sitting atop the North. I mean, I know Minnesota did their thing early in the year, but just take it from me. I have a sneaky feeling that Minnesota is going to be in trouble at the end of the year. And if they do make the playoffs, I'll be betting against them. Let's look at the stats here. All right, total plays, 67 to 57. Nothing crazy there. Third down efficiency, nothing nuts. Fourth down, nothing crazy. Yards per play, Saints 6 yards a play. That's strong. 6 yards per play to 5.1. Passing pretty equal here. Cousins with an interception. Sacks pretty whatevs. We got after the quarterback pretty well. Rushing, yards per rush 4.1. That's strong. Turnovers, we lose a turnover battle, and what do I tell y'all? 90% of the time, you lose a turnover battle, you're going to lose the game. 10 penalties for 100 yards. They're 5 for 35. Possession relatively similar. So the stats tell the story that it was a close game. You can look, if you told me to look at these stats and to try and determine what kind of game it was, I would say super close game, and I would assume the Saints lost. And that's exactly what happened. Really, really tight contest here. So I'll say relatively a fair result. Nothing sticks out with how I kind of break down box scores. As far as the double doink, man, tough, huh? To kick a 60-yarder in London, I mean, plain legs, jello legs, kicking the 60-yarder, impressive. And then to turn around and kick a 61-yarder that had the distance, and you're talking about the slightest spin difference was with the difference in going to overtime or not. So, Will Lutz, monster leg, being able to do that outside, in London after a trip like that, after a week in London, that really says something to him. But if that's in the dome, that's more than likely going in. So let's go ahead and switch things up and go to a video here. All right, we've got this young whippersnapper right here. I'm not familiar with him, but he popped up when I searched Saints review for this. I like to try and bring in different voices, different videos, and react to them, whether it's ESPN or whoever. This time it's this young man named NOS or NOS. I don't know. I apologize for not getting it correct. Fantastic pompadour-esque haircut here. The unbelievable volume, unbelievable verticality going on here. Well done on that. Well done. So let's see what he's got to say here.
Oh man, bro, that's one of those ones you just want back.
True.
Like, that is such a tough loss. Like, the Saints have had some tough losses over the past few years, but god damn, that was a
okay. Well, hold on. It's a family show. First of all, it's a family show. Okay, so I'm gonna need a lot of those kind of words to be dialed back. Family show, a lot of different ages. A lot of people watch this show at the dinner table with their family. A lot of people treat this as like a movie night. They put me on the living room TV. So we're going to scale it down a little bit. Just kind of bring it down a little bit. All right, your TV 14. I need more of a kind of a G rated. Okay, but he's right. All right, very difficult losses the last couple of years. Saints fans have been through hell. Minnesota twice, the Minnesota Miracle, and the overtime playoff loss. Of course, the Rams game. I think the Saints were the first team in NFL history to lose. I think it was three straight years their season ended on the last second play, which is insane.
Tough loss. So I recorded this video already, but of course, in typical me fashion, my mic was muted the entire time, which is just what I needed after waking up at 8:30 a.m. to watch one of the most heartbreaking losses by the Saints that I've seen in a long time. Really brightened my mood. It was fantastic.
We've all been there. Content creators. I can't tell you how many times in my illustrious career I've done a video where it's not recording, or the audio's not on, or the camera's not on, or something. You got to redo the video, but then of course it's not as good because you don't have the natural thing. You're trying to re-say things you thought were good. It's just a mess. It really is.
But I mean, I can't not make a video about this game. Like, that shit was sad, bro. That is a heartbreaker and a half.
Let it out.
And I hate, why can't this team ever just lose in a normal fashion? They always got to go, give us hope. I appreciate the fight, but damn, you're taking years off my life, bro. Like, I probably have high blood pressure after that shit.
Oh, I can guarantee you, years of being in the lows, lots of Crown and Sprites, a high level of Bloody Mary situations, legal gambling implications on a lot of these games. I can trust you, my blood pressure is worse because of the last 5 or 6 years of the Saints.
Watching that game was insane. Really good game. It was a really fun game to watch, but in the end, the New Orleans Saints just didn't come out on top. Now, I'm going to get this out of the way now because I don't want to spend the video talking about it.
Okay.
Obviously, it's shitty, but I'm not going to sit here and bitch and moan about it when we obviously could have done things better to win this game.
So he's talking about the refs. I'm assuming he's going to get to the refs with some colorful language. But yeah, I mean, it sucks, and it happens. Like, it sucks. It does happen. I'm all for correct calls. I know a lot of people go back and forth with this. Like, if I told you could have robots and they make every call absolutely perfectly, would you want it? Some people say no. Some people say that that's part of the game. Like, that kind of that referee, variant is what makes the game what it is. So it sucks when you're on the wrong side of it. But I think people who are harping on the refs, who are saying, like, that's why we lost, who are saying, Saints always get screwed by the refs do this, bias against the Saints, I think that's a bit of a cop-out.
To where that wouldn't even have affected it. But the big thing that everybody's talking about, all Saints fans are talking about, are those 2 horrendous calls by the refs that led to a touchdown drive from the Vikings that gave them.
Yeah, the pass interference. The worst one was the one where Thielen grabs Latimore's face mask. I mean, that's pretty obvious offensive pass interference. That's for sure. To me, that was the worst one.
And the lead, and inevitably led them to the win. It was close to the end of the game. It put them ahead. Put the Saints in a tough spot.
I think we
got ads. We got ads. Are you kidding me?
Grammarly suggestions.
Grammarly
spot and propelled the Vikings to win this game. First is the illegal hands to the face by Tyrann Mathieu on a shoulder tap. That shit was ridiculous.
Okay.
Like, I understand ticky-tacky, like maybe he just poked him in the face mask or something. No. He wasn't even near his head. It wasn't even close to his head. And then they follow that bullshit penalty up with that Marshawn Latimore pass interference, which was out of this world ridiculous.
That was a bad
If you
one.
watch the replay, Adam Thielen was literally grabbing on and running into Latimore trying to sell the penalty, if anything at all. That should have been offsetting penalties, if literally anything. I don't think it should have been anything because they were.
I think I was thinking when I was watching it, I thought offsetting penalties was going to be what we got there. It was not the case. That's what I think the correct call would have been. But yeah, brutal call.
We're both playing. You got to let them play football. And I like the college rule. I heard this on the broadcast too, which really put it into perspective. Pass interference should not be able to give you like 60 goddamn yards.
Okay, well, let's not. I mean, Jesus had nothing to do with this. But I think that's correct. I think the whole spot of the foul thing is crazy. We saw it a lot last year. So if you remember, the Colts were really good at this last year, where they would just send receivers streaking down the field, and they would just toss up a bomb, and they would underthrow it, so the receiver had to come back to the ball. Well, if the receiver got a step on the defensive back, and the defensive back is behind him, then when the receiver put on the brakes to cut back to the underthrown ball, he would just run into the defensive back, and the defensive back had no way of stopping. He had no way to get out of it, so it was a pass interference, and a lot of them were 30, 40, 50-yard gains. So I do think that play or that call or that rule is old and is incorrect. Obviously the rule is so that if a defensive back is beat deep down the field, and it's like a Super Bowl or a Hail Mary situation, then they'll just yank down receivers. They'll just yank down receivers. They'll take the 15-yard penalty, take the time, and say redo it. So that's the other side of it. So you have to determine if you would rather a world where it's NFL blitz, where in a situation where the offense has to pick up 50, 60, 70 yards, then the defensive team is just okay with taking 15-yard chunks. If that's what you're okay with, that's going to be your reality. So it's easy to say that it shouldn't be the spot of the foul, but I would rather it be the spot of the foul than the alternative, which is the abuse that I'm talking about.
What sense does that make? Pass interference, it needs to be a maximum 15-yard penalty from like the line of scrimmage. And there's no reason you should be gift wrapped a goddamn touchdown because somebody touched you 50 yards away from where the play actually.
I mean, again, I don't want to re-harp on this, but I think it makes a lot of sense. Like, what I explained, I think if you take both situations, I think it's obvious which one's worse, right? You don't want every offensive drive if a 50, 60-yard pass is negated because defenders are just going crazy, and we start losing explosive, deep plays because defenses just know, hey, if it's a 50-50 ball, yank him down, we'll live to fight another day. So I understand, but trust me, I don't think you want that.
Actually started. It's so annoying. Do away with that, please. You're literally determining games off of pass interference calls. It's so bad. It puts you on the 1 yard line and it's a gimme touchdown. That's so dumb. I hate it. Anyway, get that out of the way. We talked about it. The Saints officials bad. Obviously, it's an every week thing. Here, though, the Saints lost 28-25 in London in a very interesting football game. Obviously, you guys watched it. Everybody knows the storyline. It was insane. The Will Lutz goes up to kick his career-long 60-yard field goal after a heroic drive from the Saints offense led by Andy Dalton, who played a really good.
I guess he's reading. I'm trying to figure out what's going on because he goes from very like normal talk to it sounds like he's like talking as someone would write a news story about the game. But so he must be reading. He must be reading these parts to fill it in because you can tell there's a big shift between like his verbiage.
Game his first time out. He kicks that 60-yarder. He makes it. Will Lutz makes a 60-yard field goal. Crazy, right? The Vikings get the ball back with just like a minute and some odd seconds left. Kirk Cousins with a deep strike to Justin Jefferson.
All right, well, I'm gonna try and find analysis and skip the game highlights here.
Down to 28 seconds, kick a game catch. Beautiful flat route. He threw a pretty decent.
More ads, Grammarly. Unbelievable.
$1,000 a month.
$1,000 a month.
More,
doing what?
Just from this app on my phone.
From
I
doing
don't
what?
know if you can see this, but it's called Audible.
Couldn't get the second foot down. Like the shit just piled up. And are we paying our dues for the past 3 years, or is this what we get for that? Is this what we get? We don't have a first round pick this year. Obviously, everyone keeps talking about that, but who the fuck cares, bruh? There's free agency. Shut up. Stop bitching. Like, we got Chris Olave. He's worth what we traded. And then some. Everyone's like, we don't have a first-round pick. Oh, my God, we don't have a first-round pick. You know where that first-round pick went? Right here. And he's showing it. Chris Olave was worth it in every.
Yeah, I mean, the first-round pick, I think in general, draft picks in sports are like the most overrated or overvalued thing, where, you know, teams, I think fans would be surprised at how easy it would be for the Saints to get into the first round if they wanted to. If they felt like, look, we have to get into the first round, I think there's enough that they could do to wiggle their way into the first round. So obviously better to have one than not, but I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Everybody that says, we don't have a first-round pick, shut up, bruh. Chris Olave is worth everything that we gave for him. But, yeah, good game to the Vikings. I mean, you guys did not deserve that win, but in the end of the day, neither did we. That shit should have ended in a tie. The Vikings fucking suck and should not be 3-1. They are ass. Like the
we're getting wild now. Yeah, I mean, I said this. I don't think the Vikings are very good. I think they're a pretty average team. I think they probably did deserve to win. If one of the two teams had to win, just looking how everything played out, I think the Vikings probably did do enough to win. If that game is played, 10 times, the Vikings probably win 6, Saints win 4. So it was tight. I think the Vikings got to figure it out. The Vikings they're just too much of the same. Slow starting. Kirk Cousins, so much Justin Jefferson. They go as he goes, really.
The Vikings are straight up ass. Bro, you kept it close. You won by 3 points in a game you shouldn't have won against Andy Dalton, a rookie, and Chris Olave, Marquez Callaway, Latavius Murray, Mark Ingram, who has to be 75 years old by now. You might as well have had Kevin White out there, bruh. Because
I think Dalton's actually pretty similar to Kirk Cousins. Like the way they play, the way that the offense kind of runs through them. I think they're pretty similar. Obviously, Kirk Cousins is better, but I think they're very similar in how they run in the offense. Olave was really good. I mean, Olave is really good, no doubt about that. Ingram, I think, has been running well all year, not just this game, and he got kind of banged up this game. Latavius Murray looked really good this game. Latavius Murray's a hell of a running back. I mean, he's a guy that, as far as a spell running back, as far as a guy who is a backup running back or a third stringer, in a normal situation, Murray was good. He runs hard. I mean, I want to say he's got one of the highest broken tackle rates in like NFL history per however many amount of rushes. So great player. I like our pieces. Like I like the pieces around us. I mean, if Dalton is a C, if he's just a C+, I am fine going to war with Kamara, Ingram, Murray, Thomas, Olave. Like I'm cool with that. The Saints have pieces to be relevant in these games.
Offense was hurt. No Michael Thomas, no Alvin Kamara, no Jameis Winston. We were battered. And you guys just almost lost to a high school varsity football team. I'm kidding. They actually played very good, but the Saints did, not the Vikings. The Saints actually played very good, so I'm not going to knock them. But if you're a real, everyone's like, the Vikings are playoff, shut the hell up, bro. They're not good. Anyway, Andy Dalton, his first start ever as a New Orleans Saint. 20 20 completions, 28 attempts. His completion percentage was higher until the end of the game. He had to throw some balls away to avoid sacks. Good veteran decisions he was making. Lowered his completion percentage, but he obviously doesn't give a shit. 236 yards, 11.8 average, a touchdown, no interceptions. He took 2 sacks. The offensive line played really good today.
Dalton was good. I liked how Dalton was stretching the field. Dalton wasn't afraid to take shots. He was kind of spinning. I mean, he was showing off the arm. I mean, he was slinging it. You know, if you looked at the first couple of games with Jameis and this game with Andy, I think everyone would see it and think that Dalton's arm is more live. Like it just looked more live. It looked more able. Throws looked better. I mean, everything. I'll say this. I mean, granted, it was his first game, and however, who knows how long. But I think Dalton did hold on to the ball, or was relatively like over careful, which we said in the preview video it was probably going to be a thing. So not too surprising, but you know, that's the only thing I would say with Andy is that he was a little too to the chest.
The offensive line played amazing today. There were so many plays where Andy Dalton just had literally all the time in the world to throw the football. I liked what I saw from him. I liked what I saw from the offensive line. 2 very good units. If those can play as good as they did, Andy Dalton in the O-line, once Skrmetta and Michael Thomas come back, that's a recipe for success. Latavius Murray has proven that he's the number 2 running back. Easy.
I mean, if all things are equal, if everyone's healthy, I would probably still go Kamara, Ingram, Murray. I mean, that's going to be an issue moving forward, or not an issue, but that'll be interesting. Is that when Kamara gets healthy, what do you do? Because if he's healthy, he's the best player. He's one of your top 2 offensive weapons. So how do you leave him on the field? This is going to be the challenge for Carmichael and Allen. How do you leave him on the field while getting Ingram and Murray involved and getting Taysom touches? So that's where I think they need to start. And again, he's not healthy, so they can't do this yet. But that's where I think Kamara has to get so involved in the passing game. You know, he needs to be on the field virtually all the time. If 10 of those snaps are him in the backfield and 7 snaps are him out wide, whatever, you know, that so be it. But that's going to have to be the creative decision moving forward, is how do you get all those people involved at the same time?
He is the number 2 running back. He has always been the number 2 running back. In 2020, you guys can go watch the videos. We were all talking about it. Sean Payton, run the ball. Give Latavius Murray the ball. Latavius Murray, Latavius Murray, Latavius Murray. This channel and all of the people involved in it, me, all of you guys, were huge Latavius Murray ambassadors. Like giant. I remember it clear as day.
This is kind of what I'm talking about. Like when I was talking about, you know, getting things kind of crossed of what you're looking at. The Latavius Murray usage is not a factor in what's going on, because the answer isn't we should run the ball more. You know, the answer isn't like, oh, the ways to victory is by giving Latavius Murray 10 more touches. More than likely, as the season progresses, Latavius Murray's touches will just go away. You know, if Latavius Murray is getting more touches, and nothing against Latavius Murray, but if he's getting 25, 30 touches a game, we're not winning nothing. And if everyone's healthy, he's not going to have those even available, and you won't want him to have those available. If we have Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram, Taysom Hill, and Latavius Murray's getting 25 carries a game, something went incredibly wrong. So this is looking at a very short-term tape, very short-term results of the game, and projecting them onto the full season. Latavius Murray, his usage / production is, as far as I'm concerned, irrelevant to how the rest of the season will play out.
We're all like, bruh, give the damn ball to Latavius Murray. And it never happened. We ended up cutting him, which I don't know why we ever did. We got him back. Dude came off the practice squad. Boom. 11 attempts, 57 yards, 5.2 average yards per carry, and a touchdown. And he didn't even really start running until the third quarter, bro. Straight up banger game from Latavius Murray. Mark Ingram played like if you were to leave Ham out in the sun. Dude had 10 attempts for 30 yards, 3.0 average. His long was 8 yards. dude was just kind of ass for real. I'm not going to lie. Mark Ingram, he was not good today. And he was visibly frustrated about it, too. He knew.
Ingram got hurt a little bit. Ingram hurt his hand or his thumb or something. Ingram seems to have I'm not sure what he's doing. He looks thinner, looks more athletic coming into this season, but I think he has been running well, and he's a great change of pace. I like what Ingram has been doing a lot this year.
That's about it for the running backs. Chris Olave, another great game. Second straight week for him with a touchdown. 7 targets, 4 receptions, 67 yards, 16.8 average yards per reception. Very good game. Marquez Callaway, 6 targets, 3 receptions, 53 yards. He won. We Cody Parkey'd. We Chicago Bears'd. We double doinked. It is what it is. I feel like he deserves all the praise for what he did. Deontay Harris. Oh, yeah, I didn't even talk about those 2 fumbles. Bruh, those 2
We're like doing every player great here.
not been good since he changed his last name. Change that shit back
We got name scandals.
to Deontay Harris, please, because Hardy does not suit you, bro. As soon or makes it to like the 20-yard line and loses 5 yards if he would have just stood in the end zone. The defense played good. Marshawn Latimore was in a battle with Justin Jefferson. He was getting the better of him. Justin Jefferson was getting the.
This looks bad on the stats because Jefferson did so well. But yeah, I think Latimore was fine. I think Latimore was put on an island with arguably the best receiver in the NFL. And I think Latimore held his own and did fine. I mean, you're going to get beat. Like you're going to get beat in those situations. You can't hold someone like Justin Jefferson or Devontae Adams or Cooper Kupp. You can't hold them to nothing. They're going to get theirs. And a lot of the times it's better to let them get theirs if that means containing the offense. Like if you see it sometimes with Cooper Kupp where teams will let him just get 8 yards, 9 yards, whatever, and he'll have 12 catches for 91 yards, but they've contained the offense. So I think sometimes that's what you can do with people like Justin Jefferson. He was good, no doubt about it. He is good, but I think Latimore if you look at the box score, you're like, God, man, this dude got cooked. But I think Latimore actually had a pretty decent game.
The better of him. It was back and forth, but Justin Jefferson obviously got the better of him at the end of the day. Pete Werner and Demario Davis both had fantastic games. Both amazing linebackers.
We're in Pete Werner, Demario Davis breakdown here.
Bro, they were applying pressure like the old Saints did. They were stopping the run. The defensive line played amazing. Tyrann Mathieu even got his first interception. So there was a lot of good about this game. There was a lot of good shit. It's probably our best football game played to date, I think.
That's what I said. Okay, now we're getting a little bit here. We're getting somewhere now. It was probably the best overall game the Saints have played. They did look good. There was a lot of positives coming out of this, like my boy in NOS/NOS said. This wasn't again. If you're watching this and your goal and your mindset is Super Bowl, then yeah, you don't want to lose. It's like, man, a loss is a loss. A loss sucks. Not all losses are equal. Not all losses come from the same place. Specifically when you're in a rebuild or whenever you have injuries or things like that. You're trying to figure out who the hell you even are. The Saints are so far away from winning a Super Bowl or an NFC Championship game. The Saints are closer to figuring out who we are as a football team. What's our identity? What are we even trying to do in these games?
Easy. This is our most complete football game at all, period, throughout the entirety of the season, even week 1 when Jameis Winston and Michael Thomas and Kamara were all fully healthy. This was still our most complete game. And I think that says something. Ride with Andy Dalton next week, please.
Yes.
Give him at least one more shot, bro.
I don't see a reason why you'd move off Andy Dalton. It's because it's not like Jameis is your rookie quarterback. You know what Jameis is. I think it'd be better to let Dalton ride the hot hand, to let Dalton play, to let Dalton do his thing. Let Dalton kind of see how far you can push it. If Dalton has 8 straight games where he's good and then he starts falling apart, 4 picks here, 5 picks here, whatever, to go back to Winston, sure. But if Dalton strings together a season full of these performances, there's no reason, there's no upside to go to Winston. Winston's ceiling and Dalton's ceiling are pretty much the same. And I think Winston's just proven he's either A, incapable, or B, hurt. And that's hurting his play or hindering his performance. So they haven't announced it yet. It's going to be interesting to see how they announce it. Will they say Jameis is doubtful. He's still dealing with a back, so we're going with Dalton. Or they're going to flat out say, like, hey, Jameis Winston's a starter moving forward. We've benched Jameis Winston.
I think he's the better choice, at least for now. Let Jameis Winston heal. If anything, we'll wait until next season to try to figure out what we have with.
No, absolutely not. No, big wrong. We will not. That's over. The Jameis Winston experiment is over. He is. This is a tricky spot, though. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I can make a decision from my spare bedroom, but I'm not the coaches. To me, there is no like let Jameis heal, because that's not a factor in what's going on. You know, it's not. I don't think Jameis. Like, I don't think his health is the reason that he's playing how he played in the first couple of games. It may have been in the last game, maybe, but I have doubts about that too. I think it's just flat out that Dalton is running the offense better. Dalton is better. The team looks better. And it doesn't matter that Jameis is healing or we're trying to figure out what we've got in him. We know what we've got in him. I've said this a million times on this channel. But there isn't a next year. Here's a little spoiler. There is not a next year for Andy Dalton or Jameis Winston. If we go into next season with Andy Dalton or Jameis Winston as a starting quarterback, that will be one of the biggest front office failures in sports history. They have to go, and if we do go into next season with Andy Dalton or Jameis Winston, it's only because they are waiting 4 or 5 weeks to put in the rookie quarterback. But the front office has to make a move. It's been too long now, kind of sitting in this like purgatory of just C- quarterbacks trying to lead this team.
With him, honestly, because it's not worth losing these games, because Jameis Winston just has not been good. But let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. Thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry.
No problem, pal. Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of those are interesting videos. You know, it's always, and I do like to see how other people are viewing the game. I think that's important. You know, if we only hear from ESPN, if you only hear from Fox Sports, if you only hear from VSiN, if you only hear from me, you're going to hear one track. You know, it's always good to get to hear how other people are viewing the game. You know, his analysis is much more from a fan's point of view. It's much more like, you know, game on game basis, is much more what the players are doing in that moment, you know, and which is fine. You know, it's totally fine to watch a game and say Demario Davis was badass this game, or Mark Ingram was cheeks. You know, that's a totally normal reaction. You don't have to get into the DVOA all 22 stuff that I tend to get into. So yeah, I mean, it's good. It's good to see that. I think he's directionally right in a lot of the stuff he's saying. I think he's seeing the team and the game for what it is. There, you know, obviously there's a few things we talked about that I look at differently, but not everyone's going to look the same or look at the game the same. I'm not always right. The team is playing better, and that's what you want to see. We shit on Dennis Allen all week, and we took him to task because we wanted to see a change. We wanted to see something more. We wanted to see better. You know, we wanted to see him change the offense, and he did that. So it's good to see. I mean, it's good to see Allen start kind of having a scheme, start having a plan. That's what he's there to do. That's what his job is to do. So it's easy to hate on him. It's easy to do all that stuff at this point, kind of how it's all set up. But I would give passing grades to this week. I would give passing grades to this week. I don't think it was as bad as maybe everyone else is making out to. So thank you very much for watching. I appreciate that. There'll be plenty more content. I almost just broke my neck there on this wire. There'll be plenty more content this week coming out. We're trying to do at least one video a day. We slapped that ass last week. Had well over 10,000 views over the course of 5 days, which is pretty strong. So we're back. The King of Content is here, and we're going to keep pumping it out.